secret you can only share with online strangers. Story 1.
Yes!
Due to the current pandemic, my best friend of over 10 years lost his job. He was already going through tough times. His wife cheated on him, left him, and they went through a terrible divorce. Now, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed and can be forgetful. However, he's a very proud man and refuses help from anyone, no matter the situation. That's just how he is, and nothing I do can change that. This part is important. One evening while we were having a few beers, he mentioned how worried he was about making rent next month. Since I have decent savings and a stable job, I offered to help him, but he immediately refused, saying he could never accept such a thing. I happen to know his landlord as a vague acquaintance. We've chatted a few times when I've been at my buddy's place. So when my friend was at another friend's house working on his old dirt bike, I went to see the landlord. I paid his rent in full, in cash for the next 2 months. I made the landlord promise never to tell him it came from me, and suggested he say the money was owed to him due to an overpayment in rent calculations from the last few years. This way, it seemed legitimate, and my friend would believe it. It worked. The next weekend, he was overjoyed, telling me all about the accounting error that saved him. He said without that refund, he might have ended up homeless. He truly believes it was a random stroke of luck. But for me, knowing I helped him in such a meaningful way, even if he'll never know it came from me, made it all worth it. Story 2.
No!
When I was 17, I was hit by a car. Sometimes I wish the accident had caused visible injuries, something broken or obvious. The car hit me side-on at 30 miles per hour. I flipped over the hood, hit my head on a metal railing, and then landed on the ground. At the hospital, they glued my head back together, took a quick look under my shirt, and said I'd only bruised my spine. A year later, I was still in pain, so a doctor referred me to physical therapy. That's when I was told I have a tilted pelvis. Multiple doctors, physiotherapists, and even a chiropractor agreed. It's visible when I stand up straight, and one leg is slightly longer than the other. But every time I go to a doctor, I'm told I'm too young for constant pain, or that it can't possibly be a serious issue. One doctor even blamed me for my condition, saying it was my fault because I didn't swim 6 times a week. If that accident had left me in a wheelchair, I know I'd still be in pain. It would be awful, but at least people would take me seriously, and I'd get the help I need. Story 3. 4 years ago, my dad had 2 massive strokes. He was hospitalized and underwent a year of intensive physical and psychological rehabilitation. Unfortunately, a large part of his brain was damaged, leaving him with the mental capacity of a 5-year-old. Despite this, I loved him deeply and visited him as often as I could at the rehabilitation clinic he was placed in. Each visit was tough. He wasn't the same person anymore. Most days, he was fixated on eating candy or feeling upset about not having things he thought he needed, like a new watch. One day, the clinic staff called me, asking if I could pick up some prescription pills because their pharmacy delivery hadn't